All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Kelly Couch, for those of you that don't know me. Our topic today, and I'm an independent prover with the company Prove It, that we love, right? Give me a heart. We all love Prove It. So the topic today is going to be about 5 and 10 day experiences. I'm excited to talk about this because for you guys who know Nick and I's story, this one thing literally launched our business back in 2016. It was huge for us, and we didn't know what we were doing back then, but we took this idea and we ran with it. And now there's so many more really tangible things that you can do when you're getting that 5 and 10 day in their hands. And I'm excited to teach on that today. So first, I want to know who sent some Connect tools yesterday. Jeff did an amazing training and gave us so many hands-on tools that if you really think about it, we need to be setting our intentions around that, because, you know, if I'm sending all of these Inspire On videos to someone who is maybe a red and doesn't really care about the emotional side of it, they're like, let's go, show me comp plan, I'm ready to do this and have 20 cars. Like, they don't care that someone's sitting there crying, like that doesn't affect them, right? So matching the hatch with that is huge, and we have so many Connect tools. I love Jess's training yesterday. And who was on last night and watched Nick's Go Challenge call? I am super excited that we're going to be starting to do that ourselves, and that Prove It has added a video on the Fast Start page, because every single event you go to, it's MVP focus, and it's easy to take away a lot of little things from events, but that from stage is always something they focus on. And I don't think that we, in the past, we did not do that as well as a team. Going forward, that is, if you can do that every month, and Prove It is now incentivizing it with cash, you guys, like, if it wasn't enough, here's your carrot, like I'll dangle it and give you money for doing it every single month. And so it's huge. So I think if we are new and we're in that stage, or if we're new and we're about to be in those challenge stages, of course, hop on, ask your questions. It's a weekly time. I mean, of course, we're available all the time for those questions, but it's a weekly time to get on, and you might hear someone else's question. You're like, oh, I thought I understood that part. And maybe you didn't. If you've been around for a while, I can remember it's probably been a year and a half, but Brian James was at our house and we were training and a bunch of people were here, and he was like, hey, raise your hand if you guys could teach a Go Challenge Zoom, if you could teach a Go Challenge to your team. And literally Nick and I raised our hand, and we were like, oh dang, like it wasn't even like a good feeling that we could raise our hand, because no one else in the room felt great doing it. Which means that, you know, if I'm taking extreme ownership, that's our foundation. That's what we need to be teaching people. So I think these Zooms weekly are a great time for all the promoters to get on too, so that when someone says, hey, Sharon, how do I hit Go Pro? You're not like, yeah, I'm gonna get Nick on the phone with you. No, I'm not saying she does that. I'm saying, like, you know, that feeling when you're like, so I feel kind of good about that, but, you know, I'm not really solid that I could, you know, tell you all about that. So I think getting on those and watching those videos, so when someone asks you, you're like, yeah, like you can do this. It's 1,000 in volume, you know, blah, 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 right? You got that. So I think those are good for everybody to hop onto. So before we hop into it, I want to do quick recognition and gratitude. I did send out a little thing earlier just to a couple people. So Eva and Quentin, recognized for consistency and plugging in. For sure, that plugging in, I have gotten away from that too, even to the Prove It calls. So this new Zoom is keeping me accountable to that, and I've been getting on the calls. I think that's huge. Sarah Smith for third partying, which is amazing. We talked about how important that Connect tool is. And when I sent it out earlier, it was really sweet. Tony wrote back, you for being super present more lately. And so that made me feel really good, and it made me think, like, sometimes we need to sit and write the good things. I think sometimes we're always like, what am I doing wrong? What could I be doing more of? Which is good. It challenges us, but you also need to look in the mirror and recognize the good things that you are doing, the 1% shifts you are making that are going to change everything. So I think that's amazing. And I want to recognize all of you guys for showing up every single day. I know that we're 2 weeks in almost now, and this is the time, guys, like in the beginning it's super exciting, and at the end it might be like, man, we're going into the event. But this is the time when we really need to dig in, get on these calls, making sure we're taking action steps, so that at the end of this 90 days we can launch out of this, because that's really where it starts, right? At the end of this 90 days is when you're like, I have the tools I need. I have the references I need if we need to go back and watch these videos, and I'm ready to go. So let's keep digging here when it's in the middle and it gets to be that hard spot. So if you guys don't have a pen, I want you to grab a pen, because I'm going to give you some really tangible things that you can put into practice today to make this 10-day experience go better. So if you know Nick and I, how we started, when we started giving out 5 and 10 days, I mean, I told you, like, I was a different, not a different person, but I've grown for sure since then. So when Nick was like, deliver this 10 days, snag a picture so we can put it on Facebook, I'm like, they are not going to want their picture taken. He was like, do it, you know, but it changed it. Like, these little things that you do, you have to try, you have to find what works for you. And we put them all online. People got excited, but I think if you're really intentional, it gets easy to, like, you get some 10 days, you're excited about it. And then 2 weeks later, you're like, oh my goodness, I never even checked in on my girl. Like, she had 10 days. It's been 4 days. I didn't even ask her how it was going, let alone launch her to the site. And now she's getting free, and now she's a promoter. Like, we didn't even get close to that, right? So I think if we're really intentional about doing that, we can have a bigger conversion rate, right? Which is the end goal, to get them trying more ketones and having a great experience. So my outcome, just to knock it out of breath like last time, because I was so excited. No, it's to give you guys tools to create a system for yourself to really crush your 10-day game and to start converting them at a much higher level. So I want to start with why a 10-day trial. Like, who here started on a 10-day trial? Like, raise your hand. I'm going to scroll through here. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, Jess Nass is raising her hand. Like, that's nuts. Like, it's awesome, right? And I think we forget that, because here we are further along. But I've had people say, like, I have someone interested in ketones. Should I just give them my site? Well, how'd you get started? A 10-day experience. Well, why would we switch that? Like, give them that same opportunity, right? And I think that's super common now, and it's so important. I think a lot of times we forget this stage, or we try to, like, if they're gonna order, we're like, well, heck yeah, why would I do a 10-day if they're ready to order? But I think it's a low price entry point for people, and it gives them a choice. Like, when people are spending their money that they just went out and worked all day for, they want to have a choice when it comes to that. And so once you give them this choice, they know what flavor they like. You know what flavor they like. They feel comfortable spending their money because they've tried it already, and they're ready to spend it all, right? They're like, okay, I'm glad I tried that. How many times have we heard, I'm glad I tried that 10-day because I thought I was going to love the Maui Punch and hate the grapefruit, and Splash is my girl, you know? Like, they may not say it like that, like, Splash is my favorite. Okay, so I think it's like, it's funny because it's like, it's a gateway drug, right? So you're like, here's your 10-day, you're just gonna try it, you may feel nothing, and like day 9 they're like, all right, I'm hooked, where do I order? And you're like, wow, right? Like, I can remember, you guys, Nick. So if you guys don't know our story, and if you are and you've heard it, I'm gonna make it brief, but we went literally 4 months with 0 sales. Like, nobody went to our site. Barely anybody wanted to try them. We were giving so many away for free. Like, this trial and error is real. And when our first customer was me, we made $20. We screenshotted it and sent it to Brian James. And he was like, if you can make $20, you can make $20,000 a month. But it was me. I was his customer. And then we rolled out this 5 and 10-day experiences. And the fact that people could try before they went online was huge. And the 5 and 10-day they paid for. So instead of we gave it for free and it was there 6 months later, they had paid $25 back then, or $50. They started showing up with blender bottles, you guys, like mixing them in the car. Nick and I thought we were like in the twilight zone. We were like, you want to drink it right now? Like, yeah, sure, we would love that. You know, like, I think you just have to try all these new things. And so we have learned stories are what attract and what keep people. And our job with this 10-day is to support them with ketones long enough and continued for them to have their own story and want to continue, right? So a lot of times we get the question, like, someone had a 10-day and they want another 10-day. Should I give them that 10-day or should I make them go to the site? Have they had a story yet? That's what I would ask. Like, if they've felt nothing, fine. If they've tried all the flavors, and we'll walk down through setting up this experience to make them feel comfortable going to the site, but you want to support them in any way they need until they get their story and until they feel really good about getting around the community and, you know, sharing that story. So I think, you know, we tend to think, like, how do I attract promoters? Well, the way to attract promoters is to attract 10-day people, right? So you get the 10-day, then they turn into a customer, they earn for free, and then they want to be a promoter. You see that it all starts back with that 10-day. and getting them wildly obsessed with ketones like all of us are starts with getting it in their hands, however you need to do that. So I want you to drop a 1 in the comments if you want to feel bulletproof in your 10-day experience and converting at a super high level. Like you're hitting MVP and beyond every single month. Like, how would that feel? That would feel amazing, right? Like 1, 1, 1. I will put 50 ones down there. Like that would be an incredible thing. So if you crush 10-day trials, this will happen. But this is an important foundational step that we've got to get good at, you guys. Like you've just got to realize that maybe in the past was all practice. Going forward, we're going to make changes and we're going to make it better. So we're going to go over a super duplicatable system that when you practice it and master it, you can teach everyone to do the same, right? Rinse and repeat. Duplication is everything. And so I've told you on other Zooms, you know, in the past, Nick and I did not make everything duplicatable. I want us to keep it simple so that we can all do this. Not only can we do it ourselves, when we practice enough, we can turn and teach it, right? So what it all comes down to is the action you take and the intention and attitude that you have around it. So I'll go over 4 points. And if you're taking notes, you can plan ahead for this. You know, I know our different personality types, right? So the first one, set expectations. The second is going to be staying in close contact. The third is going to be staying positive. And the fourth is going to be moving them to the sale. So the first one, set expectations. This one is super key. I know that Nick and I, we were super excited when these 10 days started going out, and it worked because we got them out to enough people. But instead of setting the expectation that the focus should be on flavor, we got it in their hands and we wanted them to be, we're here, right? We've already been sharing this. We've been learning. You add on these layers, and we gave them this 5-day experience and expected them in 5 days to be all the way up here as excited as we are. And we're like, you're gonna feel great. You're gonna like never need energy again. And you're gonna this and that and the other. And then they had 5 days and maybe they didn't feel anything, which is really a common thing. And then they were like, man, Nick said I was gonna feel energy and I don't, so I'm not gonna continue. Focus on the flavor instead of those benefits, right? And then you're gonna set yourself up for success. If you're setting the expectation that the flavor, this is a flavor test. And I did that video on YouTube about this. Feel free to share that to them. My link is not in it. That walks them through what they can expect with a 10-day experience. And we want them to feel encouraged and like they're gonna get there, right? Which they are, and we know that. So let's set the focus on the flavor. You may feel none of the benefits. Right now, it's about finding your soulmate flavor so you have the tools you need for success for the next 30, 60, 90 days. How much better is that? Then if they don't feel any energy or they don't feel anything in the first 5 or 10 days, we've gotten, okay, that's fine. That's normal. What's your flavor? What's your flavor choice so you feel comfortable going on and getting what you need so that you do feel all those benefits? Then if they do feel energy or they have lost a couple pounds or they're sleeping better, that's all an added bonus. How much more encouraged would they feel then if you told them they were going to feel nothing and now they felt amazing for the past 10 days? Like that's a much better way to set it. So the sole purpose here is to have less gray area in that 10 days and more a process. Instead of being like, well, maybe sometimes you'll feel this or that. This is about finding your flavor so you can go on the site and buy it. Keep referencing that. So when you come back, which flavor did you like and you're checking in, you know right where to go. So the action here is I want you guys to think about, or my suggested action step is to add a note in with your 10 days. We think we tell them all this great stuff and they retain all of that. It's not really the case. We want constant reminders of what we want them to be doing. So what if you have set these expectations when you talk to them, and then they get it in the mail a couple days later and they're like, oh, I know she said stuff. I'm going to go ahead and do this, whatever. What if they open it and they have a note in there that says, I'm excited for you to try all the flavors. The purpose of the 10-day trial is XYZ. You've reinforced they're trying to find their flavor. You've reinforced you're going to follow up. It's perfect. Adding that note in is huge. The attitude part of this one, we're going to go through action and attitude on all 4 of these quickly, I promise. Attitude here plays a big role, you guys. I want you to visualize, like, you know, I think we've sort of wrapped our brain around this over the past couple months, like visualizing and how that looks. And when you visualize things, then you take the action to follow up, and that's what makes those things happen. So if you don't visualize and you just send it out and you're just like, oh, whatever, no note, nothing, and you haven't thought about this, they open it, maybe they're not as excited because you weren't as excited, but imagine you visualize them like ripping it open and telling you like, I'm so excited, I'm loving my ketones, like pour some love into these trials and send that energy with it. So the second one, stay in close contact. The action here is that in the note, you want to write, message me when you get this before you begin. And then you might also want to ask, these are just suggestions, you guys can come up with your own system, but that way, if you forget, they're going to message you when they get it, right? Like, message me when you get this. That way I can tell you how to get started. And that way they message you when they get it. You don't forget to follow up. It's just an added layer. You might want to ask, when do you plan to start this? That way you can begin your first follow-up. You could also ask, will you message me every time you try a new flavor and let me know how you like it? I can't wait to see. Of course, they're going to say, sure. And then every time they try a new flavor, it's flavor focused. And you've also, they're reaching out to you. How many more, we talked about touch points. How many more touch points are you going to have if they wake up and they say, hey, I had the Maui Punch, I didn't like it. Hey, I had the heart tart, I love that one. Hey, I had this. You're remembering to follow up all through their thing. They know they aren't bugging us because we've asked them to reach out, and it gives us those touch points we talked about. And you're going to build that close connection in that 10-day if you're having that many touch points. And so the affirmation here is they will love the flavor, and they're going to have a hard time choosing the flavor. People are spoiled now, you guys. Like, remember who was around when we had just had orange, and then we had chocolate, and then we had Maui Punch, right? Now people, like, come on. If someone says, I don't like any of the flavors, I'm like, that is my filter. You're too negative, and it is not the timing for us to work together, because if you can't find a flavor or mix it up, somehow get it down, we're going to move on. We're going to filter that into it later, and we're going to come back later. So, you want them to love it. You want to bring that energy when you're getting them their 5 days. So the third one, stay positive. I have worked on this. This is where we talked about mindset is huge. So if you tank every time someone says, like, I don't like Maui Punch, where's that going to take your 10-day experience? If you're like, cool, no problem, like, stay positive. You're like, that's no problem. Like, maybe that's not your soulmate. Like, my husband loves that one, but that's why we do the 10 days. Everything is different. That's why it's great to get this taste test, right? We're putting in that flavor test, flavor. So if you guys haven't realized this by now, we are in a people business, and that is hard. And it is a hard thing to navigate. But the more you can stay up here and not take those tanks and have to work your way back up, that's why personal development is so huge. It's not going to even bother you. It's fine. It's a taste test. It's no worries. Like that, they don't have to love Maui Punch like you do. They don't have to love Ruby Rush. If Liz, like, Rutan is on here, she's gonna be like, yes, they do. That's my one. Don't you talk bad. But I feel like if you're tanking, like, it's not, I've been there. I've been there when you get that bad message. They had their first day and they don't like the flavor, and you're like, oh no, it's going to go terrible. If you're like, no problem. That's why we do a taste test. Which one are we moving on tomorrow? We're already on tomorrow. We already passed the problem. We're on to solution, right? The attitude here behind this is that there are no keto emergencies. I can't tell you the million times we've said this. Everything is unfolding perfectly. There are no keto emergencies. Everything is unfolding perfectly. You'll figure out what you like, and you'll start to feel great. If you aren't in the right mindset for this, and someone comes at you aggressive, and you're like, don't be talking about my Ruby Rush like that. She's my girl. Just don't respond. If you find yourself in that negative mindset, wait it on out. My aunt has a 24-hour rule. If she feels worked up, she waits 24 hours, and then she's in a better mindset to handle it. Hopefully we can bring that time down. Listen to a little more Joseph McClendon or whoever gets you riled back up. You can shake your booty, get back out there, and respond to those messages in a positive way. Or reach out to your coach. If you're feeling those emotions and you don't know how to respond, always, we're here. Reach out to whoever's helping you, and we're happy to help. Number 4, move to the sale. The 10-day is great, but the whole point of the 10-day is what? To get them loving ketones, right? We want them to be raving fans. We want them to become promoters. So we want to be sure that we're moving there in an effective way. So the action here is be confident and willing to ask. If I could tell you, like, the people on the other end are waiting for that ask. A lot of times they're not just going to step up and do it, because even if you've checked in, even if you've followed up, imagine you haven't. They're not just sitting there like, can't wait to order. Like, when I get to this 10 days, I'm doing it, right? But if you followed up, you built the connection, and then you come in at the 10 days, like, I know you've tried all the flavors. Which one did you fall in love with? Let's go ahead and get it ordered so it gets here in time. That's not awkward, right? Don't be weird. That's what I said the other day. Don't be weird. It won't be weird. They're waiting. They've tried a 10-day. They're waiting for you to ask for the sale. So the action here is you could say something like, do you think you know which flavor you like? I have a coupon, right? I love to use our Prove It Bucks. Even $5, you guys, goes a long way. Cuts their shipping in half, something. It makes them feel valued. Or, you know, do you know which flavor you like? This, and this are on sale. Do you think those are the ones you want to continue with? However you choose to run your business, but I think having that language ready to go when people are ready makes it seamless. And I think the second part here is talk about the smart chip. Talk about the smart chip and like now, like at the end of the 10-day. So we don't want them to get order and get 30 days in and then realize they have to place another one-time order at full price. When you could have told them 30 days ago about the smart chip, like if you choose to choose smart chip today, you'll get 22% off and a free box every 4th month you're on smart chip. But also if you're interested in getting it free as a customer, we can talk about that too. Free as a customer. People lean in, they're like, wait a minute, you're not going to try to sell me on this weird business. I can be a customer and get free product, like ears perked, right? Ears perked. So it will raise your conversion rate big time if you know that people, not only can they get it, not only are they ready, but they're ready to get it for free. And then we have more people coming in getting it for free. That's how you build a business quicker, okay? So the attitude behind this is confidence. You know what we have our hands on. It's changed our lives and it will change theirs too. So when you feel afraid to ask for that sale, remember all the stories in our community alone, you guys. The Rhino Squad has some kick butt stories and we're going to start sharing those on Sunday. We heard Todd and Stacy's this last Sunday. We're going to have another great one coming up this coming Sunday. Our stories here are powerful. And so if we remember that when we go to ask for the sale, we're like, this is going to, I have literal goosebumps. I don't know if you guys can see it. Like, how long have I been doing this? But we know what I have our hands on. It's going to change their life the way it did ours. So get in that mode before you ask for the sale if you're lacking that confidence. Your daily mindset around this 10-day is that from the second they get the 10-day, your conviction is that this will change their life. You know that. You're sending them a 10-day. It will change their life. And imagine how different you'll go into your communication with them, knowing that in whatever, 30 days, 60 days, 6 months, they're going to be like, what I didn't tell you was I couldn't even walk. I couldn't do this. I'm a better mom. I've lost 100 pounds, right? They're coming. Those stories are coming. That's where your mindset should be. We always hear them preach so much, that attitude and mindset matter so much more than logistics, right? Like do it, however, and shift your attitude around it. I think it's a lot of times, people talk about being in the gym or food and what the percentages are to get the healthy body you want. It's the same here. If you're just sending 10 days out and you've got your wording down, but you're not excited and you're not bringing the energy, you're no different from Johnny down the street who may sell ketones later. But if they're like, man, she cares. Like she cares about me. She sent me a note. She sent me a thank you card. She gave me a $5 coupon. She like checked in on me every other day. Like it was really amazing. Like, imagine we're shifting that every single day. So I'm going to give you guys a couple affirmations. I know this can be hard and I'm just getting good at it myself. But when you sit down to do them, sometimes it can be like, what am I even telling myself here? Or like, what should I do? Go to Pinterest, go to Google if you need to, but there's a bunch. So I've heard the unlimited journal is good. I think I'm going to get that myself. That has a lot of good affirmations in it. But let's start some of these and imagine yourself like believing these and feeling them. Like say them every morning. Like, my customers love their ketones and can't wait to order more. Because what you speak out, you guys, it happens. And when I was trying to first get my brain around visualization, I was like, I'm just saying things. Like, I don't feel it in here. I don't get it. But it changes your interactions with people for sure. It changes how you approach little things in your day, which affect your day, your month, your year. Okay, the next one. I convert 10 days at a high level. I believe that. If I believe it, I'm going to do it, right? Because I'm going to check in on my people, see what it means. It affects your actions you take because I convert people. I convert 10 days at a high level. Customer testimonials are frequently pouring in. I love this because if they're pouring in, we can share more, right? So get that in your mind. We love to share these. I am MVP. That's your next one. What if you woke up every morning and you're like, I am MVP every month, rinse and repeat, right? We got this. And then everything is happening in our favor. And if you want to hear stories, like reach out to Missy or reach out to Jess and Tony or Nick. We started saying this, like, you show up at a vendor event, for example, and I know I'm over time. I'm almost done. I have your call to action. But we started showing up at events and say you're like stuck in a hallway and you're like, I'm over here. I'm not going to be able to talk to anyone. I paid this, blah, blah, blah. If you're like, everything happens in my favor, everything's working out perfect. I'm here because I'm supposed to be here and I'm going to meet someone. You've changed your whole day. You've changed your whole outlook on what's going to happen. Everything happens in my favor. Everything that happens in your day, you're like, of course that happened because everything happens in my favor and everything works out best case scenario. So I know it sounds crazy, but you will be, if you start to do these, you guys, you're going to look back and be like, oh my gosh, like this actually works. It actually works in every situation. So your call to action, I want you to remember to be heavy flavor focused. And I want you to follow up with all of your customers and find a way to sneak in that combo. So maybe that conversation hasn't been going well and they're not sure if they're going to continue because they haven't felt things. Reach back out. This is a 10-day. This is flavor focused. It's a taste test, or they didn't feel anything. Share that video with them if you feel uncomfortable saying that. And your second one, I want you to create or find a follow-up tracker or system that you'll actually stick to. This doesn't have to be like anything fancy. For those of you that know me, organization is a work in progress for me. So if it's a piece of paper, if it's your phone, if it's a calendar, if it's sticky notes, that works. Like we talked about the other day, getting started is progress, 1% shift every day. So find something. Nick and I got notebooks and we just write down everyone we meet in that month. And it's literally been that simple that when I sit down and I'm like, oh, what action should I take? I open the book. I've got the names there. I can just get into action. Even if that's not where I continue, it gets me right into action. I'm following up with people that I would have never remembered otherwise, especially on Instagram. You know, it can get all over sometimes if we're not familiar with it. So I want you to get that system and then just start doing it. And then reach out if you guys have questions and we can help. So with that, I should probably set a 25-minute timer for myself instead of 20 because I just can't get it all in. I want to bring it. I know I talk fast, so I always have a lot of content. But I love you guys, and thank you for tuning in today. And share this replay out, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.